Hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs and me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham for one of your updates today. Thank you so much for everybody that supported the channel so far. Subscribers continue to rise to get towards that magic number of 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like and comment below. So jumping into the updates for today, and many of you will have seen the most important one. Dusan Vlahovic, who we have been linked with all the way through the summer. Nothing happened then. Links have continued to happen, and I don't think this is like the whole Leandro Damião or Damião, however you pronounce that. Remember him, the Brazilian guy that we were linked with that hasn't actually gone on to do anything spectacular in his career. Dusan Vlahovic is not that man. He's a very, very different player. 21 years old, and we've done a video talking about him before in the past. If you haven't seen that, you just scroll back through my videos, find the one where I talk about his career so far. He's still doing good things this season, and being linked with everyone, not answering the phone to Arsenal, which always makes us feel good. So, excuse me, the news that's kind of coming out is that we have become front runners for that deal. Now, in my eyes, there's a couple of reasons for that. Conte, being our manager, is obviously a massive draw for any players right now. He is the man to get us back up there. He has a winning mentality. He will work the players to the bone. He is a massive draw for players, all right? Then, second thing, Paratici, very good at getting deals over the line and has a lot of connections in Italy, obviously. Very well respected within the world of football. Thirdly, Fiorentina do not want to sell him to another team in Serie A. They want him to move out. They've sold players in the past, one of them to Juventus themselves, and feel like that comes back to bite them in the backside every time they play him. So, not going to want to do that. Same situation with Daniel Levy. Did not want to sell Kane to another team within the Premier League. You don't want your best goal scorer coming back to haunt you every time they play you. So, we are front runners. Apparently, he's fairly keen to join us. And Daniel Levy, if rumours are correct, has decided that whatever Juventus offer Fiorentina, we will match, which means they won't be out of pocket. That keeps us in the front seat. They would prefer him to move to a club abroad anyway, so that ticks all the boxes. If it's true, Daniel Levy, well done for finally backing a manager. We will see how that one progresses. I'm sure there's going to be many more twists and turns before the January transfer window, and I mean, hopefully we get that one over the line straight away. But you know what it's like with these big transfers. They tend to take a while to get over the line. Obviously, those of you that were watching the England game will have seen Harry Kane bag a hat-trick. Now, for many fans, this actually annoyed the hell out of them because he had a great game for England, scored a perfect hat-trick, left, right, and a header. Many fans weren't happy about it. Now, let's play devil's advocate. Been poor for us this season. So far for England, he's also been poor. Kane scores a hat-trick for England. Strikers' confidence comes from scoring goals. Scoring goals breeds confidence. Harry Kane just scored 3 goals for England. I'm just saying, I think this could be the turning point for him. Remember, we've got a much better manager in now in terms of the way we're going to play football. He should get more chances once Conte has worked with the players properly and got them to start doing what he wants. So, ergo, Harry Kane should be better. That's my theory. Unless, of course, he's really not interested in Spurs anymore whatsoever, and that explains some of the performances. And especially if he's smashing them in for England still, he's going to have many suitors. I mean, there are rumours still circulating that Man City are going to come back in with a bid in January for him. I mean, I don't know, but I personally think that bagging a hat-trick for your country is going to put him in high spirits. He's going to come back hungry for goals. At the end of the day, he's staying in the Premier League because he wants to break Alan Shearer's record. He is wiping records out everywhere, left, right and centre, as in competitive matches for England, now top goal scorer. He will overtake Wayne Rooney, who has the most goals in and out of competitive matches for England, so expect him to smash that record at some point. But yeah, I think his form will turn around for us now. It should, anyway. Next one up, Joe Rodon continues his impressive run of form for Wales. And obviously Ben Davies grabbed a goal as well. Look, Joe Rodon for Wales has been very consistent in the qualifiers so far, putting some great performances. Look, I know they've conceded goals, but they're Wales. It's going to happen. I mean, they haven't got the quality all the way throughout the team to match some of the top teams out there. But Joe Rodon has been giving very mature performances. He's been solid for them. So will he ever get his chance at Spurs this season? Not too sure, because there's still talks of us looking to sign other centre-backs, which I will lead on to now. Rudiger from Chelsea. Look, we've been linked to him through the summer. Chelsea obviously don't want to do deals with us, as we saw with the Olivier Giroud possible transfer. Giroud would have been happy to come to us, despite his links to Chelsea and Arsenal. That was obviously blocked. It never happened. Rudiger is in the final 6 months of his Chelsea contract. Someone obviously we were linked with. He's a very decent player. Issues will come from wages. So at Chelsea, he's currently on about 100 grand a week. Now, he obviously wants a pay rise. This is why no new deal has been signed or anything. They're only willing to offer him 150 grand. Now, Rudiger himself wants at least double his wages. That's a 50 grand difference. Are we likely to whack out 200 grand for him? I'm not so sure. That will come down to a fee we pay, or really if he leaves for free. If he leaves for free, you can obviously up the wages because you don't have to pay the transfer fee. If we sign him in January, we'll have to pay a transfer fee, which means 200 grand a week probably isn't going to happen for Rudiger. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It's an interesting one. Let me know below. What do you think? Would you like to see Rudiger playing for Spurs? Is the Chelsea connection a deal breaker? Because I know obviously we've had players in the past, William Gallas, Chelsea and Arsenal, David Bentley, Arsenal. Look, there's been players before, and I can't say I hated them for it, because for a lot of them there is no real loyalty to Arsenal. I know some people won't get over it, but the fact is a lot of these players that move from club to club are usually foreign players that have no instant connection to the club. It's not like they grew up die-hard Arsenal fans. They just took a job. They were getting paid more money for a better life. It's like somebody working for Asda and then going to work for Tesco's or Sainsbury's or one of the other chains. So, you know, let me know below what you think about that one. I personally don't think it will happen just because of the wage demands, and I don't think he'll go to us in January because Chelsea won't sell to us. Now let's talk goalkeeper. Obviously, I spoke about the links with Onana. Somebody did actually leave a comment, and I can't remember who it was, but I will thank them for it. They actually said they would have liked me to have gone into more detail about the reasons why Ajax are quite happy to let a goalkeeper of Onana's abilities go. Now, that could happen, a video on that, but however, at the moment, there's nothing really concrete, so I don't want to go into too much detail, which I only spoke about sort of like his playing ability and why I think he would be a good player to sign. Obviously, he's had the drugs test issues and that, which is why Ajax are quite happy to let him go if they have to. But if we're strongly linked with him, then I'll do a full video on him. And for those of you that have mentioned in the comments that he's got a verbal agreement with Inter Milan, I will just point out Harry Kane. He had a verbal agreement with Daniel Levy. Verbal agreements mean nothing. It's that old phrase, it's not worth the paper it's written on, because it's not written down. Onana will go to the club that can offer him the highest level of football alongside the highest wages. He's currently paid 33 grand a week. Now, if Inter Milan say, we'll give you 50, but then Spurs come in, say Inter Milan finish in a Champions League spot, but we finish in a Europa League spot, I can guarantee you now, if they're only going to offer 50 grand and we go, we'll give you 80 grand, he's coming to Spurs. That is what will happen. He will come to Spurs. So ignore the verbal agreement. It means nothing. And that itself could be media talk, agent talk, trying to drum up more interest, people giving him higher wages because they're worried he's already got an agreement in principle. So, similar with this Dusan Vlahovic thing, they reckon that, yes, we're front runners. He wants to come to us. Who's actually said that? Who? Has his agent come out and said that? No. Has he come out and said that? No. Has his best man from a wedding come out and said that? No. Do you know what I mean? It's just, at the moment, it's this. It is what it is. It's verbal talk. So, if we are more strongly linked, I will do a full video on him, explaining the ins and outs, pros and cons. The drugs thing is slightly worrying. But, he's still young. Hopefully he's sorted himself out. Now moving on, back to the the main part of why I'm talking about goalkeepers. Hugo Lloris. Okay, so we know his contract is winding down. Everything's been very calm. There's been no real rush to try and get him to sign a new contract. Now, for many people, that would be maybe we've got an agreement to just allow him to go at the end of the season. He's been a great servant to the club. He's been there through some of our best moments. He's been through there in the whole build of the club rising. He's also been there for our slight downfall over the last few years. But all in all, cracking goalkeeper. We've seen him grow from strength to strength. And at a time when he started looking like a weaker goalkeeper and maybe we could have got rid of him, he got injured and he came back much better. I actually felt after his most recent injury, he's come back a fantastic goalkeeper. Distribution has been better. I feel like that is his weakest part of his game, with the ball at his feet. The amount of times I've seen him shank it out of touch with his left foot. Communication, I feel, has got better as well. He's become more of a natural leader on the pitch. I know he's a leader off the pitch. I hear that from many people, but on the pitch, his ability to speak out loud was always questioned, but we saw in the Spurs documentary, obviously no fans in the stadium, we heard just how vocal he was when he had a pop at Sonny. And I feel like he's actually got louder and louder and louder. So I don't want to see him go, especially if our backup choice is Galini, if we play him in enough games to sign him. But that's why a player like Onana coming in, the quality that he's got and experience he's got, then I don't mind too much. But I feel like Lloris is playing some of the best football that he has since he's been at Spurs. He's back to near his best. But little bits that he said, Spurs remains his priority. He expects talks in the coming weeks. It's always been a pleasure to play here. He's still looking for his first trophy at Spurs. He wants to help the club in its development. He's been there and seen us really grow as a club, not just in the Premier League, but within Europe. He's had a runners-up finish in the Premier League, obviously runners-up in the Champions League, semi-finals, cup finals. Really, when you look at our success in terms of trophies, it sounds poor, but actually we've had a lot of success. We just haven't got over that final hurdle. And, Mourinho might have ended up being that man. I know our league standing was a bit meh, but he did get us to a cup final that he didn't get to manage us in. Maybe Conte is that man that will get the chance to manage us in a cup final and get us over the line. For Mourinho, we will never know if it would have happened or not. Obviously, the trophy doesn't butter over the cracks. Juan de Ramos got us a trophy, the last trophy we won. But league form, not great. Following season, binned off. So, I don't know. We'll see. Do you want Lloris to stay past the end of the season? He's basically said he's very calm about the whole situation, hasn't ruled out the possibility of returning to France. And I've been speaking to a lot of people about this recently, and I feel that is the next place he will go. I think he will go back to France. He's got one big contract left in him, I feel. It just depends on what happens with Spurs. If we really push on, I think there's a possibility you will see him sign maybe a 1-year extension or something like that. And then decide after that if he wants to go. If we look like we're going to push on, we get back into the Champions League, then I think he will commit himself. And that's if Conte wants him to stay past the season. So that'll be an interesting one to see how it goes. Now, the last thing I'm going to leave you with today is something that came out at Spurs. They posted on their social media. It was an interview where they were talking... Antonio Conte was being interviewed, and then on the flip side, Ryan Mason was being interviewed. Now, the reason why this is interesting, and I didn't even realise this at the time, so Ryan Mason, playing career, first England cap was against Antonio Conte's Italy. Ryan Mason's injury that ended his career at Hull City was against Antonio Conte's Chelsea. So there was already a little connection there between them. Antonio Conte actually went to the hospital, saw Ryan Mason and his family. So there was a little bit of a history between them already. Then when he became interim manager at Spurs, any world-class manager, any manager really, would have been looking at the Spurs job, wondering if it's something they wanted. Would have seen Ryan Mason taking charge of it. Antonio would have been like, is this a job I could possibly want if they approach me? Then he comes into Spurs. Obviously, he's got to bring his own team with him. Ryan Mason is somebody that he already knows, feels a little connection with, and then brings him in. He knows Spurs well, got the history, played for the club, is a coach at the clubs, played with loads of the players that are already here. So the right sort of person throughout the club that gives a good vibe, will keep the players happy, a nice connection between the two. They both spoke very highly of each other in terms of their personalities and things like that. Look, and for a lot of us, we feel like this is a very positive move. Ryan said that he obviously took the training session before Conte officially started to take training. So he was watching in an onlooker's capacity. Probably would have been impressed with things that went on in the training session, liked Ryan Mason's demeanour, the way he was with the players, and yeah, then offered him the job from there in a conversation. And, you know, Ryan Mason is not stupid. He was head of player development, but if you get offered to learn under the tutelage of one of the best managers in the world, you're not going to say no. It's a good step for him. I thought the next step after managing Spurs for those 2 months was going to be to move on to maybe a team in League One, maybe, work his way up. But he didn't. He stayed at Spurs. And now he's got a great opportunity from it to ply his trade under Antonio Conte. Fantastic. And I think they'll be good for each other, because Ryan can keep him in touch with, you know, everything about the club and how it should be. And then he can mould Ryan Mason and take him on to the next level. So, look, it's a good way to end the video, I think. It's nice and positive. Don't forget to leave your comments below about anything that we've spoken about today. There will be more reports coming. There's been little updates on Frank Kessie, but I'm not going to talk about them at the moment, because, again, it's still nothing really concrete. It's just that media presence pushing that story along, so we don't forget about it. So thanks for sticking around for today. Enjoy the England game tonight. Will Harry Kane play? Will he not? If he does, will he bang in some more goals? Ready to take us on to the next stages when he comes back in for our next Premier League game, which we will talk about in a future video. So thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, subscribe. There you go, Gunslinger. There's another one for you, the old tongue tie. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Take care, and until next time, guys, come on you Spurs.